Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone who's tuning in today is doing super fantastic. Today, I am joined by two very, very special guests, the co-founders, the co-owners of Gowa Shoes, Keji and Bisi. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys doing today? It's a nice Saturday, is it not?
It is
Yeah, it
actually
is nice.
nice
Actually,
and
it's sunny
sunny.
today, which is rare.
Oh my gosh, that's so good because after like the past week and a half of hurricanes, it's sunny today and in the 60s. So I'm
You've had hurricanes?
not okay, maybe I'm exaggerating.
I was like, I feel like I missed that.
It
I mean,
not
okay, it felt like hurricanes.
Yes, it was raining a
Okay.
lot, raining heavily. I had a lot of wet pairs of socks over the past few days, but it's dried up and it's super sunny. So please don't worry, not actual hurricane.
Yeah, to be fair, it's been raining like a lot here. This is like the first day that it's like blue skies, sunny, and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so you guys understand what's been going on over here. It finally feels
Mhm.
like spring, so I'm glad for all of us. But
Yeah.
yeah, take a second just to introduce yourselves. Like, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Hi, I'm Bisi. I am one half of Gowa Shoes. I am 29. I'm cusp of being 30, and I'm also a proud member of the Tall Girl Club. I stand at 6 foot tall. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here today.
Hi, I'm KG. I'm the second half of Goa. I am, what can I say about myself? Well, I'm a doctor by day, and I do go with Bissy by night. And I am tall as well. I'm 5'10" and a half. So I feel like I'm on like the small side of the tall community, but I'm
Wow.
tall. I've crossed over. I feel like I'm comfortably in the tall girl gang.
We're quite literally the same height.
Oh my
This is the
God,
first
really?
time. No, this is literally the first time that I've heard somebody on here say, I'm 5'10" and a half. And I'm like, yes.
Oh my God. I was like, I'm always like, because I always feel like maybe like the taller girls might feel like, oh, she's not that tall. Like, 5'10". I was like, that's like, oh, like cry me a river kind of thing. So I'm glad like you get it.
Yeah, you know what? I like so in one of my episodes, I gave like a little tall girl spectrum where we talk about like what's short tall, what's tall tall, and all that stuff. But even though we may be considered short tall, we're still tall, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. They're still tall in the definition.
Exactly. But thank you guys so much for sharing your introductions. And, since we're all women here, I would absolutely love to hear about your experiences growing up as tall women, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, what was that like for you guys?
Growing up, I mean, I think I was always one of the taller people. Like, Keji and I actually went to primary school with each other. That's kind of how we kind of go all the way back in Nigeria. And we were definitely, for us, it was a case of always go to the back of the photo. There wasn't even a chance, like when there was a school pic. And it was always us, like standing
Yeah.
next to each other, right there at the back. So it was always kind of something that we knew. Although in primary school, it wasn't a big deal. It was just like, we all were slightly taller than everyone else. I think it was when it got to about secondary school, so that's middle school, high school for you guys, that I kind of noticed that, oh yeah, I'm definitely bigger than everyone else. And at that point, it didn't feel great. It wasn't in a good way at all. And I definitely went through a lot of awkward phases, kind of walking around with that size. And it wasn't terrible. Like there was also, three other tall girls in my school. So I wasn't just the only one that stood out massively. But yeah, it was kind of something I was always aware of. And I think after school, I kind of got a little bit confident, a little bit more aware of like and happy with my body. And I think that kind of came also when I figured out my personal style and things like that, and kind of got to a stage where I found clothes and shoes that kind of were like, okay, this can fit, this works for me. And it kind of gave me a lot more confidence in that sense.
I'm so glad to
Yeah.
hear that. What about you, KG? What was it like for you growing up?
I mean, it was like the same. Like, I mean, speaking of us being in primary school together, like we have a picture and we are literally like, there's like a head, like our heads were standing behind some other people in class, and you can see our full heads behind them. And like that's how much taller we were. And growing up, I mean, it was my brother and I, and he's a year and a half older than me, and we had like this like competition, and I really wanted to be taller than him, if you can imagine, like as a child. And like he hated it because I was taller than him for like until he hit puberty. And so I was so proud of the fact that like I was tall, and like I'd make fun of the fact that I was taller than him. But then like like I became a teenager, and then I got to secondary school, and then like the reality of being tall actually like kicked in. And then you start feeling like the insecurities. You just stand out, like you're taller than, like, I mean, I was kind of lucky. I had a couple friends who were like really good friends, best friends, who were tall, but like there's no mistaking you in a crowd. And then when you're like going through your awkward phase, you're kind of, interested in boys, and then you're taller than all the boys. It was tough. And I feel like even if you don't care so much, you're always reminded like of the fact that you're tall. So it was just, I would say I didn't have like the worst time, but I definitely felt very, very self-conscious about my height. And it took a long time to actually be like, actually being tall is nice. Like it's not a bad thing. Like it's just me, one, but two, like, yeah, I look good. I'm tall. I'm elegant, as they say. So that came much later.
So, what was something involving your height? It could have been a question, it could have been a comment. What was something involving your height that you absolutely hated hearing?
Mm, it has to be the classic. Oh my gosh, you're so tall. The do you play
Oh
basketball? Oh,
dear.
how's the weather up there?
You should be a model. You're so tall, you should model.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
The
I just
definitely.
feel like it's weird because like no one else, I don't know what it is about like telling someone that they're tall that people think is fine to say, because you wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're so short, or like whatever. You wouldn't say that to someone and feel like that's okay to say. But for some reason, being tall, like people feel like it's fine. And I guess maybe it's sometimes it comes as a compliment, but sometimes it's like, okay, I didn't thank you for telling me. I didn't realize I was
I
tall.
didn't
Now you've
need
said
to
it.
this moment.
I know.
Exactly. I honestly don't like that either. Oh my gosh, you're tall. Oh my gosh, you're so tall. Because it's like, Selena Gomez did once say, tell me something I don't know. There was
Mhm.
no need to repeat that information back to me, especially when I'm already
Exactly.
feeling self-conscious about it. But you know what? At this point, my comeback for that is just thank you. Because you know what?
Hmm.
At
True.
least you notice me and hey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I want to hear a little bit more about your brand, Goa Shoes. Can you just elaborate on the mission of your brand and share the story, or just share a little bit of how you guys started it, how it originated, why you guys started it?
Yeah. So Bisi and I started Goa. We launched in 2022. We started working on it during the pandemic. And Goa essentially came out of our personal experience and our frustration with shopping for shoes. So, as we're both tall, as we've said, but we both also have big feet. We wear a UK 10, which is like an EU 44. And so we had, I mean, I'm sure you know, struggled over the years for finding shoes, finding nice shoes, finding stylish shoes, um, finding shoes for occasions, etc. And Bissy mentioned earlier that we went to primary school together, and then we reconnected in 2020, I think, 2020, around that time.
Yeah.
And then like we instantly, like it comes up like we both have big feet, and we're like, oh my God. And then we wanted to do something that would serve women like us. And so we thought, let's like make a brand that caters to just large sizes exclusively. And in our like search for what we wanted to do, we actually realized that there's like so many, or I wouldn't say so many, but like increasing number of brands in the market that cater to large sizes. And we only found out about these brands when we started thinking about making a brand. And then we realized if we don't know about them, loads of people like us wouldn't know about them. And so we thought, let's create a platform where we can actually do all the work. We can go out, discover brands that cater to large sizes, have them all in one place, and essentially be like the home for brands for big feet. So women like us just know that like, maybe I have a wedding, I need shoes, where am I going to go? Goa. And you can discover different brands. There's always a new brand, there's always a new style, and you know, like you're sorted. If you need anything big shoe related, you're sorted. And so that's how Goa came about. And everyone who's started a business would say and agree, like it's tough, but I think because it's such a personal mission for us, because our like market and like all the people we cater to are literally us. Everyone literally has the same story. It motivates us. Like when we have like the tiniest win, it feels very personal as well. And when we discover new brands that we like, or we see like styles of shoes that we've always wanted and never had, it's like that like joy that we get. And so yeah, that's Goa.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to hear that. I feel like with a lot of tall brands or just brands that really cater to people with varying body proportions and unique features, I just think that it's just like you guys have such an impact, I feel like, especially on your audience's confidence. So just hearing that you're able to do that for other women out there who struggle with what you guys have struggled with is just honestly so awesome to me. And that I feel like kind of like leads to the next question where it's like just like going beyond like providing footwear, like how do you guys like promote like self-love and confidence among women with like different proportions? Like how does your brand, in your opinion, help them embrace their unique features?
I mean, I think just providing the space to, like as you said, like find and know that you have a go-to place to shop for styles that you want for you in particular, and kind of knowing that there are other people who need this as well kind of allows you to go, you know what, I'm going to feel more confident about it. I'm going to be able to put an outfit together and kind of just like step out into my authenticity and really just how I want to be shown into the world. And I think like the way you dress to a lot of people really, really also says a lot about them kind of being like, you know, taking care of themselves and being like, this is how I want to show that my true self, my style and everything. And then beyond kind of the space of Goa and the shop itself, I think we also have what we call a GBF community. So those are the girls with big feet, and we are really, really for fostering this and connecting other women because there's also a thing of being in a space of women who are like you, like whether it's being tall or having big feet, and it just feels so good to just being around people who have gone through the same thing. It's like super empowering. So I think, yeah, those kind of the two ways that we really want to promote self-love and confidence in all these women and provide a better platform, a better space for everyone.
Yeah. And in a sense, like kind of normalizing it having big feet. It's like it's a reality. We have big feet, people have big feet. It shouldn't be like a niche thing. It shouldn't be like you're an extended size, which that is literally what it is, but like it shouldn't be made to feel like it's different. And so making women with big feet, making them feel like if I want to buy shoes, if I want to shop, I'm just like everyone else. I can just go out and find things I want. I don't have to feel, I mean, you want people to obviously feel like they're special, but not special in the negative way, meaning special because of the difficulties that you have. And just being like, yeah, having conversations with your friends. People talk about like, oh, I love this pair of shoes, or like, this is my favorite brand. And just being able to engage in those conversations and be like, oh, I bought these shoes last week. I really love them. Just the things that you kind of take for granted if you don't have like the similar struggles. And I think I know personally from my experience, my confidence does depend on how, a lot of the time, how I look if I'm trying to look good. And I don't want, which has been the case for many years, to have like a really nice outfit and then just feeling like there's just that thing missing, which is the shoes. And it just makes all the difference. And I know how I felt going for events and feeling like, you're kind of like shuffling your feet, like maybe wearing long dresses so your feet don't show because your shoes aren't really like enough. And just being able to like step out, look good from head to toe, and just live your life feeling confident. I think that's what we want people to feel with the brand. And that's our goal. If we can do it for like 100 women, that's still like 100 more than there would have been.
That was amazing. Thank you guys both. I honestly especially love the idea of just like normalizing it, because I feel like one of the biggest things as tall women, or just with anything that anybody can experience, is just feeling almost like outcasts, if that makes sense. Just feeling
Yep.
so different, feeling so left out. Like even you, KG, you were talking about like feeling left out of conversation. Well, you guys are helping them feel included in conversation, but also feeling left out of conversations. We're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love shopping at this place. Oh my gosh, I like getting my clothes or my shoes from this brand. So I
Yeah.
just think that normalizing it is also like just a really good way to help us just embrace ourselves and embrace our uniqueness. So I honestly loved hearing that. And then also the idea of like how like what you wear also plays into confidence, because it's not always just about like what exactly you're wearing, but it's also about how it makes you feel. And when you feel good, when you feel beautiful, when you feel elegant, as you said, it also shows in the way that you carry yourself. And it really shows in your mindset. It shows in how you talk, how you present yourself to others. So I think
Yeah.
that's also a great thing that you guys do for the community. And I
Yeah.
also want to ask, like, from your perspectives, like, why do you think that self-love and confidence is crucial, not necessarily even just for tall women, like for all women, like no matter what challenges they face, related, it could be related to their height, it could be related to their foot size, it could be related to their bodies. Like, why do you think it's like important to have that confidence and have that self-love? And how do you see that like impacting their lives?
I mean, you just like step and walk out differently when you have a certain level of confidence and self-love. And it's also being kind of assured in yourself, knowing that you can walk into a lot of rooms. Like you said, everyone kind of wants to feel like they're kind of included in a conversation and knowing that they have something to say, something to add. And when you have a certain amount of confidence and self love, you're able to navigate more spaces. Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
about authenticity, to
Yeah.
be honest.
And I also think like confidence is like part of everything you do. Like if you think about it, confidence is like part of like your job. It's part of, if you're like, you're a podcast host, you kind of have to have confidence as well. As a business owner, you have to have confidence. Like it feeds into every aspect of your life. And I think life is tough, and just having one less thing to be worried about or unsure about, just being confident just takes you that step further. And if like, for example, for me, I'll just give a personal example. A couple of years ago, I got married, and it's an amazing period. Like it's a fun time of your life. It's something you look forward to. But I did have apprehensions going into my shopping thing, just thinking about like not being able to perhaps find shoes or find things, like if I want to get a dress, like will it be long enough? All these different things. And that's just one aspect of my life that I should feel the most confident, a day I should feel the most confident. And when you have these things at the back of your mind, that are kind of kicking that down. I think that's where you see like where confidence comes in and where it's important. And literally waking up in the morning, walking out of your house and just stepping into the world and just not thinking about like, do I look a certain way? I feel a certain way. Would people perceive me a certain way? I just think it's just having confidence just makes life that much easier.
I think, sorry, just to add, just going back to what we were saying about both of us kind of going through our awkward teenage years, like the difference between then and now is our growth in self-love and confidence. Like standing out and being super tall when we were younger, it did feel awkward. And it was through a lot of self-love and confidence that I can proudly walk around and people look at me and I'm like, yeah, I get turn heads and I'm just like, I'm the way I am because I've kind of built up that confidence and I'm happy with who I am now.
I absolutely love that. I also like the point, Bissy, that you brought up with like authenticity as well. And I feel like that can also show up in a lot of different ways, not just in your personality, but even also your personal style, as you said earlier when you were talking about how finding that kind of like helped you with your confidence for your height. So I honestly really liked that idea. Now I want to ask you guys our final question. What is one piece of advice that you want to give to the tall girls who are listening right now, who are struggling with their self-esteem because of their unique features? It could be their height, it could be larger feet, it could be anything. Like, what advice would you give them?
I would say that hopefully it's just a phase, and that's not quite advice, but it does get better. And I think it did, definitely for me, it got a lot better. And being different, standing out, is definitely something to be proud of. And like I said, when I walk into a lot of spaces, I turn heads, and I love that now. I really, really do love that. And especially when I have gone to some tall girl meets. I walked, there's one I went to recently, and I walked in with flats. And I was thinking, just because I don't want to run around, I was rushing, but I took some heels in my bag. And as soon as I got there, I was like, I need to put my heels on because I'm trying to stand up straight. I wasn't trying to look short in front of anybody. I loved it. And it was just so fun and it was just great. So I think just, yeah, hopefully it's just a phase. And if anything, I think find your community because that would really, really help. I think kind of feeling that there are other people there like you, having some fun and just feeling more comfortable, confident, you'll get there.
Yeah, I completely agree with the it gets better. Like everyone has insecurities. It's hard to it's hard to feel or to ex appreciate that like your insecurities aren't, any worse than anyone else's. But of course, if it's personal to you, then it's personal to you. But just remembering that like you being tall is not a negative thing. In fact, it's a very, very positive thing. And just whatever it is that's said, whatever it is that you encounter, just making like a spin on it and changing it to a positive. And it is literally just for like the tough years that we mentioned about like when you're coming of age, you're coming into yourself, but it definitely, definitely gets easier and it definitely gets better. And as people, we naturally like focus on the negative, but I'm sure, being tall, people would say, oh, you should be a model, or like, oh, you're so tall. And as I said, elegant or whatever. It's so beautiful being tall. But make sure that you remember the positive things people say and try not to focus so much on the negative things, maybe the like being at the back of the photo, etc. Like keep reminding yourselves that there is actually like a positive thing about being tall. Like, as I said, we do look good. And like I can reach I can reach and get stuff from the
The
from the
top shelf,
cupboard.
exactly.
So, and yeah, so just constantly reminding yourself that like I'm good, it gets better, but even now, like there's so many positives to my quote unquote insecurity, and just yeah, reminding yourself that every day. That's what I would say.
Exactly. Period. I also want to say myself that just because somebody is trying to say something negative, that doesn't necessarily mean that they see your height as a negative, because some people will think that you look like a baddie, you look like a hottie. They'll think, oh my gosh, tall and
Hmm.
beautiful. But they will try to make you feel as though you're not, simply because of the fact that they are jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also something to keep in the
And I
back.
think you kind of have to delude yourself in a way. Like there's no limit to how confident you can be. Of course, there's like everyone says there's like, a fine line between like confidence and arrogance. But I feel like when it comes to an insecurity, there's no limit to how confident you can be. Like whatever they say, even if they may mean it negative, tell yourself that no, they meant that as a
Yeah.
positive. Like they actually mean that in a good
Yeah.
way. And yeah, just delusion.
Yeah.
It helps sometimes.
And for sure, just to add, like it's also sometimes it's more about them than it's by you. Because one of my favorite things that Naomi Campbell ever said was, am I intimidating or are you intimidated? Like I'm not doing anything, I'm just
Yep.
existing. So you just kind of take on and being like, it's more about you than I am. I love this. I love my height, and I'm just here being me. So
Exactly. Because it's like you're the one living your life. They're not walking in your shoes. They've been there for a total of 10 minutes. What's the problem? Because
Yeah.
being Delulu is the Salulu. That's what I tell myself.
Hmm.
That was honestly great advice, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Can you please like let us know? See, this is the part of the episode where we gotta plug ourselves. Like where can we find you guys on the interweb? Like let us know. Where can we find you guys?
So you can find Goa at goashoes.com. That's Gowa shoes. I don't feel like I need to spell shoes.com. And we're on all our socials at Goa Shoes. So Gowa shoes. You can find me personally if you want. If you're so inclined, at KG Belgore, and I'm guessing that will be tagged KEJIBELGORE on Instagram. So follow us, check us out, tell us about your stories, your experiences as tall girls, girls with big feet, and we actually really, really want to hear from you. And I know everyone says that, but we actually do, and we want to have those like personal conversations and learn more about everyone.
true, true, true. Okay, I'll tag myself as well. So I'm Bisi Amarawa. So BISIEMERUWA on Instagram. You can find me, give us a follow, find out. Same as Katie said, let's have a conversation, talk, message me, whatever.
And just to say, we are currently on a like hiatus, I guess. We are relaunching our website on the 16th of April. So at the moment, our website is down, because we're coming back with something exciting, with some new brands, some new styles. So make sure to sign up to our mailing list to find out when we're coming back and for all updates. But yeah, we have something exciting in store. So don't be deterred when you go on our website. We're still here, but we'll be back soon.
Ooh, I'm kind of hyped, not gonna lie. But make sure you guys sign up for their mailing list and follow them on their socials for updates. And of course, I'm going to take a moment to plug myself. You can find me at a Tall Girls Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. We all want to hear from you guys. We all want to hear about this episode, what you guys thought about it. If you have any comments or anything, like even if you want to complain about being tall, we could do that
Yeah,
too.
tell us. We can be like agony arts.
But thank you. Oh, and their information is going to be linked in the description. So it's super easy for you guys to click on and you guys can head on over there. And thank you guys again so, so much for joining me on this episode. I really do appreciate it. It was so fun.
Thank you for having us. It's
You're
been
so
amazing.
glad.
And thank you, dear audience, for tuning in. And we'll all catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.